Culture Blender, where we dive deep into the vibrant and diverse world of cultures from around the globe. My name is Rucha. Dr. Lalita Marathe and I are your hosts for this podcast. Each episode, we bring you stories, experiences, and insights from people who have lived, worked, or studied abroad. Join us as we explore the beautiful blend of traditions, languages, and lifestyles that make our world so wonderfully unique. Our guest speaker today, Meghana, will be living in Spain for almost a year. Currently, the language and cultural ambassador teaching English and Indian culture in Spain. She is a Spanish language and culture expert, having more than 5 years of teaching experience in the field. Hi, Meghna. We look
Hello.
forward to hearing all about your travels around the land, flamencos, tomatoes, and la fiesta. Hi,
Uh,
Meghna. Great to have you here.
yes, it's an honor that I'm here. Thanks to you and Dr. Lalita Marathi as well for inviting me and being a part of this podcast.
Definitely, it's a pleasure to have you here. So tell us, Meghna, where are you from, and can you tell us where you were in India before going to Spain?
So I am from Hyderabad. I was born
Mhm.
and brought up in Hyderabad. I can say partly in Bangalore as well because of my family.
Oh,
But I have roots from Maharashtra and Karnataka. So uh,
wow.
a kind of multicultural family there. I think I picked up languages at a very young age thanks to my family because we spoke multiple languages. And
Yeah.
I think I eventually, you know, had the love for languages and passion thanks to my father and mother for, motivating me to take up languages. I just chose Spanish and I went ahead. I pursued my bachelor's. Then I did my
Mhm.
master's in European studies. After that, of course, I was working in Manipal for some time as
Oh,
a language instructor for a while. So
mhm.
that has been my trajectory. And this year, it's been 2 months since I've come to Spain for
Yeah.
this program.
And you also mentioned that you were in Spain 5 years ago as well. I wanted to ask you, what were your initial impressions about Spain when you first went there 5 years ago and then coming back to the same country 5 years later? Now, what has changed?
Yeah, I think I will definitely speak a bit more about this now. It'll take
Uh-huh.
some time. But yes, earlier when I was in Spain, I came here as a student, as an exchange student with the Erasmus Plus
Okay.
program.
Okay.
I It was a dream come true, I can say, thanks to my professors who made this, dream come true because I think whatever I had studied, learnt about the country and researched about it and spoke the language, I'm going to
Yeah.
live my dream. So basically, what you learn, I was living
Mhm.
my experience, living the experience of what I had learned. I was
Right.
carrying all that together with it curiosity. It was my first time. It was really interesting. I met a lot of people.
Mhm.
I was the only. I think I could be wrong, but I could see that I was the only Indian in town. Maybe,
Oh,
of
wow.
course, I do know that there were some stores which had other nationalities which are from Asia
Mhm.
as well. But you know, I got to interact with a lot of people from different cultures and nationalities, and I got to speak
Mhm.
Spanish. I really got compliments, and it was like a feather in my cap that okay, you do
Wow.
speak like a native speaker, and that was a compliment.
Yeah, so that's great. You have a very diverse, multicultural, multilingual background already in India. And you also mentioned before when we were discussing that you were in Spain 5 years ago as well. So just wanted to ask you, what were your initial impressions about Spain when you went there first ago, and what has changed since then now that you are here again?
5 years ago, or maybe 6 years ago, I came to
Mhm.
Spain with the Erasmus program, and I was a student back then. And
Okay.
today I am with the language assistantship program, Auxiliares de
Hmm.
Conversación, and I'm here as a language assistant. So,
Okay.
you can say, of course, different experience, studying,
Yeah.
now teaching. So it's al revés and
Hmm.
something different. Earlier, I think I enjoyed my maybe, energetic 20s with
Yeah.
the first part of half of 20s with meeting multiple people, going to Erasmus parties, traveling. I think,
Uh-huh.
happiness, the curiosity of, living my dream, because I really am happy that I came to Spain, because having learned the language and the culture, uh,
Mm-hmm.
coming and living that experience, it's was something amazing. So that is
Yeah.
how I felt that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I grew as a person back then. The experience, I really grew as a person, meeting people from different backgrounds, co-living with people from different nationalities.
Yeah.
So I've lived with a German roommate and two
Mm-hmm.
Chinese roommates, and then a Russian roommate and two Portuguese roommates as well. And of course, I had different friends from different nationalities, like United States of America, of course, England, and many nationalities to name. So the only challenge that I faced was, I think I was this um, enthusiastic, super excited, dreamy person. But then, of course, you have to gauge reality. And when it came to studying, it did, it was a little difficult when it came to maybe reading research papers in Spanish, because it was a
Oh.
challenge. I was pursuing a master's in research program along with native speakers, which was really a
Oh.
daring thing. They were like, this girl is daring, she's studying with us, and that to a master's
Uh-huh.
in so master official. But it was really a good learning experience. I think then I took a lot of learning from there, that I have to work on my language, and where I lacked, like, okay, I have to read a lot, and I have to
Mm-hmm.
put practice. I have to keep in touch with the language. Although I
Yeah.
speak well, but I mean, I should be reading as well. So you should maybe immerse yourself in everything and equate
Mm-hmm.
time to all the four skills. Maybe
Yeah.
fifth, culture is the fifth skill, I would say. And as per one of, I think, the researchers, I forget his name. I think Krauss. He had named that culture is the fifth skill, and yeah. So I think I learned a lot, and I made many friends.
Mm-hmm.
Coming, okay, and then when I came to Spain, of course, I did a lot of tourism,
Yeah.
cultural immersion, and talking to people, tasting, Spanish food and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that. It was a completely first-hand experience, and first experience. Maybe I see that a lot has changed in terms
Mm-hmm.
of uh, receiving people and the nationalities here. I think a lot of
Oh,
companies and MNCs have come up, and you see a lot of people from different nationalities, and there's no cultural shock as such for the people.
I see.
So
Okay.
yeah, back then, if I can say, if I was walking in a kurti in the street, people would
Uh-huh.
definitely stare at me and be surprised. Of course, they would be curious,
Of
as to
course,
who
yes.
I am and all of it. And maybe today, if I would walk in the street, nobody would actually stare at you. Maybe there might be one or two people, but I think it is not of that of a problem, because they're used to people coming from different places. And
Right.
this is one thing. And I think I went to Barcelona. Let me take the name of the city, because it's one of my
Yes,
favorite.
please do. No, actually, I was about to ask you where you are at the moment as well. Which city are you in?
Okay, I'm currently in the city called in a town called Vienna.
Mm-hmm.
It's Villena, which is in
Okay.
the Comunidad Valenciana, which is the Valencian community region. And of course, but when it comes to the cities, where I'll talk about that a little. Barcelona, the city that I really liked when I went earlier.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to Barcelona, I saw that, okay, there are people from everywhere, and I definitely came across a few, similar cultural background people from Asia, like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. I could see a couple of them. But I think when I went back to Barcelona this time, like when I landed in Barcelona, I think I could see a lot of Asians. There was a lot of Indian people, a lot of Bangladeshis and Pakistanis, much more than what I had seen back then. I'm just giving
Mm-hmm.
a comparison. And that has become a
Uh-huh.
cosmopolitan. Barcelona is a city that I really like and I'm fond of because of its art and architecture. I think Antoni Gaudi, thanks to him, is
Yeah.
designing this beautiful city.
Yeah,
Uh,
Antonio Gaudi started, designed the Sagrada Familia, right?
Park Güell and many, of course, the art and architecture, and it's a city, a beautiful city and with multicultural population. You have the beach, of course. So, the things that I like maybe all coming together was Barcelona for me when I first went to that place. Have, I think that I have a connection with that city. I could feel it. I mean, I have understood. And then, it kept me calling back during my stay earlier. I went about 4 times at least to Barcelona. And this time I landed straight in Barcelona. I stayed there about 3 days.
Oh, wow.
That was a different experience. I think, as I mentioned, it has become more multicultural and open to every nationality. And
Wow, that's very
this, I think,
welcoming.
if you spoke English, people would understand. And the difference that I saw was tourism bus had an Indian flag there, which meant you could have the audio tour in Hindi as well. Earlier, that
Oh,
was not the
wow.
option. English was the option. This was the thing that I saw, and of course, as I mentioned, I saw more, Asian nationalities there. Like, I would specifically talk about our, region, that is India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. I see a lot of them there now. Like, I see a lot of Indian students. Let's come to focus on our country. I see a lot of Indian students studying in Barcelona,
Okay.
doing their research or masters, and yeah, I think this is the thing that I observed.
That's really interesting to see how open and welcoming the country has, become in these last 5 years. That's very interesting to know. So now coming to, your experiences now after 5 years when you're there working. So how would you say the workplace culture is over there, and what is your understanding of the professional relations in Spain overall?
Spanish people and are very warm and
Mhm.
welcoming. I think something similar to Indians. We are welcoming and warm, and I think I had a great, welcome here, as people were very sweet and they reached out to me via email, and even when I wrote to them, they responded in a very helpful manner. Uh, and then my coordinator, who I'm working with, she received me, and even the director and other colleagues, they received me very well. And I think, after having worked for about 2 months now, starting from October, and now I think, we are already on 1st December. It's exactly been 2 months since I'm working here. So the people are quite professional, yet loving and warm. And you know um, they have a very cordial relationship among with each other. If they have an issue,
Okay.
they talk it out and then they try to resolve. I really like that about, about where I'm working currently.
Yeah.
And so another thing is, work life balance is excellent here,
Oh,
because
that's great.
if you are unwell, you can take a day off, but of course you have to inform. and
Hmm.
you have a chance to definitely recoup that class, or that you have that opportunity, thankfully, that you
Hmm.
can recover a particular class or day that you missed.
Yeah.
And yeah, and
No,
I
it sounds very communal in nature as well, which is very similar to Indian culture actually. In
absolutely
India, we are not very individualistic; we are a communal culture, and I mean, it seems to be reflecting that from what you're saying.
absolutely. And it's a different experience here. Coming to
Mhm.
work life, of course, I told you about work life balance. I think I'm feeling more relaxed, and I think I have a lot of time on me to do other things and to, focus on myself and my.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think in India, I think we, have a crazy schedule. Like, we work, we are workaholics in India, and I think we don't mind even doing an extra bit. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's almost expected at times with the workplace culture here, whether it be corporate or academic.
Absolutely. But I feel it depends from, institution to institution and company to company.
Agreed, agreed, of course.
You have, I don't, I do agree that you do have work-life balance in India, but you have to find for it. You have to, you have to,
Exactly.
you have to choose. You have to make the choice. But here,
Yeah.
I think you already have it set. And
And I think that's definitely a good piece of advice that you have to choose work-life balance, especially in countries where the regulations probably don't afford you that.
and maybe one point I'd like to make a
Hmm.
comparison of teaching in India and teaching in Spain.
Oh,
Um,
please, go ahead. Yes, definitely.
so it's a completely different experience. I started my teaching journey teaching adults
Hmm.
at the university from as a teaching assistant, then of course guest faculty, and then a language instructor. I was teaching certificate courses and um, to students of bachelor's and master's, where I was teaching Spanish language and culture. Here,
Uh-huh.
it's the opposite. I'm teaching them English and Indian culture, giving them presentations, giving insights about how a day in my life or how I live in India or something like
Mhm.
little cultural insights. And here I'm teaching in a primary school, which I'm dealing with kids
Oh,
from first standard to I think sixth standard. So yeah,
wow. Please tell us a little bit about how the system is, how the school system is over there, or how you're finding it different from teaching in India.
yeah. So, of course, we have our schools and we have universities, and as I told you, I have journey. My teaching journey started in the university where I taught adults from 18, and I think I
Above,
even
yeah.
taught up and above. And when it comes to schools here, I started teaching people from first standard to sixth standard, which is about I
Oh.
think they are 4 to 5 years old, 5 year
Uh-huh.
olds till no, no, no. I think 6 year olds until maybe 13 years of age, 13 to
Uh-huh.
14 years of age. So I think there's a lot of energy within the students, and you have to kind of animate and be creative with your classes and make
Hmm.
sure they understand. You have to put in a little bit effort uh,
Yeah.
there, and you have to grab their attention because their attention span is less. And
Absolutely.
isn't the adults, of course, you are talking to adults, and you design your classes differently, and you talk about
Hmm.
situations. You can even be impromptu in the class, while if you want to have a debate in the class, you can just bring up a
Yeah.
topic and you can
Hmm.
ask the preferences what they wish to talk about. So yeah,
Hmm.
when it comes to education system here, I mean to school system, to be specific,
Yeah.
you have the infantil, which is the kindergarten, and then you
Yeah.
have primaria, which has first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then you have
Right.
instituto and above. So
Hmm.
have yeah, until 16 years of age they have the instituto, and
Oh,
I think the
okay.
university system is similar like in India. So all else that.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to ask you a little bit about how the culture of etiquettes is over there. Uh, could you tell us a little bit about that? What are these, unwritten rules in society that you have observed?
So unwritten rules, of course, needless to say, it's common in Europe. If you're crossing the road, they stop. So
Mhm.
they ask you to go ahead, and then that is one thing that I can think about. Greet each other even if you're strangers. So that's a sweet
Mhm.
gesture. Like you just say hola or buenos dias anytime
Mhm.
and every time. So anybody you just give a smile, they also give back a smile,
Okay.
not creepy or something. And of course, you have to be on time. Although Spain is considered similar to India in terms of
Mhm.
time, if you are calling, inviting somebody at 8:30 p.m. for a party, if you turn up
Mhm.
at 8:30, it's considered rude, and you can, you should be coming a little later, like say 9. 8:30 means
Okay.
9. So something similar to India, but when it
Yeah.
comes to professional rules,
Mhm.
If it's your first week, if you come once or twice, if you're late, it's okay, but not,
Mhm.
you know, not frequently. Of course, it's not
Right.
like the person would come late every day, but at least frequently. So
Right, right, right.
that
And
is something.
what is the time that is considered late? Say if you're 5 minutes late, is that considered late, or is it 5 to 15 minutes which is considered late?
I think 5 to 15 minutes and beyond.
Ah, okay.
5 minutes is fine. I think, yeah, something after 10 minutes some is
Right, right,
considered.
right. So there is that little bit of a buffer time still.
Yes, yes,
In Spain,
yeah.
do they also use forks and spoons and knives when they're eating? Is that something you found difficult to get accustomed to? Were there any other customs that you easily adapted to over there?
Of course, you go into to any restaurant, you have fork, knife, and spoon,
Hmm.
and of course, you are required to use that as. And when it comes to my etiquette, of course, we Indians are habituated to eat with hand if you have like Indian food, of course. But
Hmm.
when it comes to say paella or like some other, if I'm eating bread, of course, I would use and respect the culture and have it with the fork and knife or the spoon. And I think I'm lucky because I was trained how to use the fork and knife and spoon because I was in a school where we were obligated or we were to use the fork and knife.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
okay.
and spoon. I have I mean, I'm habituated to eat with fork and a knife when it comes to
Right.
a common space. Uh,
Hmm.
and if I'm eating with with other people, I can
Hmm.
adapt myself. So that I didn't have any difficulty with that. I look around where I am, which food I'm eating, and then based on that, I will go ahead with what my
Absolutely, absolutely. I think observation is a very strong suit when it comes to trying to adapt to a new culture. You observe what people are doing around you, and you try to imitate them as well. I'm afraid I'm going to make you a little nostalgic here, and I know you've only been there for 2 months right now, but given your entire experience of being in Spain, what makes you nostalgic over there, or are there any things that really remind you of your home?
I think I have lived away from home for quite a long time.
Hmm.
So the thing that I would think maybe I used to miss home earlier as well, even while being in India. So I think my home, my family, my parents, and the family,
Yeah.
uh, and maybe the get-togethers. I would say the get-togethers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So if there's a get-together or like some festival, I think yes. Now coming to the point, I am missing home during festivals. So
Yeah.
Diwali passed by. It's been a month. On 31st October, it was Diwali,
Hmm.
and I missed home a lot on that day because of the festivities and traditional food.
Hmm.
The traditional food, and I like helping around and being with people and dressing up and that whole festive vibe, the whole thing that comes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
People exchanging gifts.
Hmm.
So that's the thing I missed in this time. And
Right.
I could not step out because I live in a small town and I could not go to a different city and experience because I
Right.
didn't plan it well. Uh,
Hmm.
I couldn't, I mean, of course, I lit a small candle in my balcony. That was the only Diwali thing that I could do. But of
Yeah.
course, looking at people's stories and the, the fireworks, I think I missed that a lot this time. But
Hmm.
to compensate for it, I attended a Diwali party which was organized a week later in Madrid.
Oh, wow.
So
That's really great.
a lot of Indian people, and we spoke and had Indian food and danced to Indian music. So that was
Wow, that's amazing. So you did get a little bit of home there as well. And you mentioned missing traditional food, but I'm sure you have had the chance to go around and try some really interesting, food over there as well. So, can you tell us a little bit about the local cuisine, especially since you've been there before and you must know a little about it as well?
When it comes to Spain, when you learn about the culture and gastronomy, paella is
Hmm.
the first thing that they mention.
Yeah.
And of course, currently I'm in Valencian community. It's known for paella, and
Hmm.
it may people here, the Spanish people may call it a stereotype if you mention paella in some other town like Madrid or Barcelona or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But yes, it's a traditional food, and I tried it last time when I was in Spain. I
Hmm.
went to a Okay, so coming to my dietary restriction or preference, I'm a vegetarian.
Yes.
I had to try the vegan version of paella.
Uh-huh.
Of course, I think when I'm talking about culture, I'm not doing justice to the authentic paella, but of course, I had to have the vegan version of it, which was
Hmm.
equally, I mean, excellent. And but I did, ask my so I met a couple of Indian friends last time, and I took them around. I made them try the authentic paella, and that made me
Ah,
happy. So I would say paella, and of course, the usual breakfast here would be the churros con chocolate, which I tried last time. I have not yet tried now, which I will do
oh,
soon.
nice. That's a dessert, right?
Yeah, no, but it's a Spanish breakfast, so it's churros
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
chocolate, hot chocolate. You dip the churros, and like in India, what they sprinkle some sugar, cinnamon. I don't know. It's not
Uh-huh.
authentic churros at all. So churros and porras, these are the things, and
Porras. Okay, that's interesting. What are porras?
the churros which are smaller, but porras are longer, and
Ah,
of
okay.
course tostada. Tostada is a typical thing, which is a toast. You have
Mm-hmm.
a bread with butter, or you can have it with tomato, like
Yeah.
me being a vegetarian, that was my classic breakfast, because morning
Uh-huh.
I don't tend to eat sweet. I'm not of a sweet tooth person right now.
Mm.
Can't have churros all the time. So and of course Sunday, it was a Sunday breakfast thing.
Ah,
Churros,
okay.
so tostada con tomate y aceite de oliva, which is toast
Uh-huh.
with a tomato puree. You would spread it on it, sprinkle some salt and put some olive oil, sprinkle some olive oil and eat it. So that's your breakfast.
Wow.
That's a typical, or else tostada con mantequilla, which is toast with plain butter.
Oh,
These
yeah,
were my two go-to breakfasts.
yeah. That's amazing. So, aceite de oliva is quite famous there, right? I mean, olive oil is used a lot in the local cuisine when they cook.
Absolutely, because it comes from this area, Mediterranean area,
Uh-huh.
from Italy and Spain. So, of course, Spain is known for olives and
Mm-hmm.
olive oil. It exports the best olive oils, even to India. And I used to, choose my olive oil in India in this supermarket which is made from Spain. So,
Oh, yes, absolutely. You have to maintain the authenticity.
Spanish routine is actually a very relaxed routine. And
Mm-hmm.
okay, talking about meals, you have breakfast. I think in about from anytime between 7:30 to say 9
Mm-hmm.
before work, and then you have a mid-morning snack or breakfast. So if people don't miss skip the breakfast, they do have it between, I think, 11 to 11:30 during that time, and
Okay.
then you have the lunch. Lunch is usually the best or the longest meal of the day,
Mm-hmm.
where it's called comida, which is food, but almuerzo. So
Mm-hmm.
breakfast is called desayuno, and then you have almuerzo or la comida,
Uh-huh.
and you have it between, I think, anytime after 2 in the afternoon until
Uh-huh.
4. So during this time, people have their meal and then go take a siesta, which is and if you see, if you walk around, many people walk away from the stores. They close the stores, have food, and come back at 5 o'clock. 4:30, 5 o'clock is
Oh.
the time they return. So Of course, nowadays in the fast-paced world, siesta may not be true, but siesta is a cultural um, concept here, where you take a
Uh-huh.
nap or you go spend time with family, have the food, enjoy, savor the food, and rest. So the idea is to rest, not take a
Mhm.
nap, but yeah, rest. So that, and then later you have something called merienda, and that's one of my favorites. Merienda is the evening snack, something like we have chai in the evening,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
chai and pohe or whatever. So in the evening,
Mhm.
like how we do in India. They have the merienda, which they have something like maybe some desserts, or they just go have some drinks and tapas. Tapas is
Mhm.
again another cultural thing that I forgot to mention. The gastronomic uh, star, I can say, because tapas are small portions of different kinds of food, which
Mhm.
you enjoy, which it accompanies with a drink. So if you drink,
Oh, okay.
you can have tapas. They either so of course, merienda is the
So
evening
is
snack.
it kind of like bar food in India, or is it different?
It's like bar food. Tapas are bar food. So
Okay.
yeah. But then when it comes to okay, not to deviate again, when it comes to merienda, it's evening snack.
Uh-huh.
So you have like young kids have some sandwiches and maybe bakery foods, sweets,
Mhm.
and maybe people have coffee and milk. And at night, the dinner is very late. It's very relaxed but light.
Uh-huh.
Oh, maybe it's about from 9 o'clock until 10:30 in the night.
Oh, wow. Nice. That's nice. So, okay, so breakfast is desayuno, lunch is almuerzo or comida. Then you have the merienda, and then what is dinner?
Cena.
Cena, la cena. Okay. You mentioned that you enjoy traveling around Spain and you have traveled before as well. So, what are some places in the country that people simply cannot miss?
Spain is a beautiful country, and coming to the historical part of it, you do have a lot of UNESCO sites, and you know, from every, I think you shouldn't miss the UNESCO sites. I think in the north, be it the south, be it the east or the west or
Uh-huh.
the center, anywhere, first, this is the thing that if you ought to travel to Spain, you shouldn't miss this historical sites. It can like the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, or it can be Alhambra in Granada in the
Hmm.
south, in Sevilla, sorry, in Granada, and you have Sevilla, Cordoba. These are the Sevilla, Cordoba, Granada, like these three beautiful
Yeah, yeah.
capitals, Spain, Andalusia, and of Madrid, which is Madrid. It has a lot of museums there. Even in the
Okay.
north, you have a lot of museums, so you shouldn't miss every town or city in Spain has a Plaza de España, so you shouldn't miss those. It's like a square where
Absolutely.
it's happening.
Uh-huh.
Uh, by if I keep talking about different monuments, I think time will pass
The
by.
list
So
will go on
that's why I
forever. Yeah.
specified that will go on forever. So I specified only the UNESCO sites and stuff. You should miss the islands, Balearic Islands, the Canary Islands.
Oh,
So
yes.
and the Canary Islands, Tenerife is known for its carnival, and
Mm-hmm.
Balearic Islands, of course, the hyped up Ibiza, the hippie life there.
Right.
But you have beautiful Palma de Mallorca, where I've
Mm-hmm.
been there. I've been to Palma de Mallorca, beautiful with its cathedral, and it's a calm life there. It's serene. It's beautiful.
Oh.
The clear waters. It was beautiful. My stay there, and
Mhm.
I'm yet to travel a lot. Of course, I've traveled around Spain, but not as much as I plan. I want to go to the north. So you have the
Uh-huh.
Camino de Santiago, which is the
Okay.
holy trail where you walk uh,
Mm-hmm.
until the Santiago de Compostela, which is a cathedral.
Okay.
I want to do that soon, sometime.
Wow. Is
And
this trail famous? Is it well known?
yes, it is well known. I would say it's like a holy trail. It's a pilgrimage. It's a pilgrimage. That's the right word. So yeah, I think there's a route you can look up. There's something called the route of Camino de Santiago. So
Okay.
yeah, so
Wow. That's
I
really
think
interesting. I'll make sure
historically
to give all our listeners some links to these wonderful places you're talking about.
them. So you have a route, you have the trails. Historically, people marked that trail to
Okay.
reach to the cathedral. So, you follow that trail. There's a
Mm-hmm.
small emblem there, so like a small on the road there, and you
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of routes like this because Spain has rich history and culture. You have a lot apart from Camino de Santiago. I would like to talk about the king's routes as well. So I have maybe say Toledo. I have been to this beautiful castle city, very close
Mm-hmm.
to, but it's in the community of Castilla-La Mancha.
Yeah.
You have another route, you have these pebble stones or something, and you have some
Mm-hmm.
engraved things engraved, and you have a lot of routes there. Yeah, I think historically I've finished that, and next you have adventure sports. I'm sure
Oh, wow.
Indians have watched Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, and they go
Of
to
course.
different
Yes.
adventure sports. So you have Sevilla, and you have Costa Brava next to very close to Barcelona.
Yeah.
So for water sports, you shouldn't miss Costa Brava, and for
Mm-hmm.
and of course Sevilla and the Paris sailing, I think paragliding, parasailing.
And I believe you're also interested in a little bit of art and music.
Yes.
Spain has a very rich culture of music as well, of course.
Again, I would say you have great artists like Salvador.
Mm-hmm.
I think with La Casa de Papel being famous around the world now, you
Yeah.
have seen you know the
The mask in,
so it's
yeah.
the Dali's mask. Dali was a great artist. Designed the logo of Chupa Chups. The
Oh,
candy
wow.
and Chupa Chups are from Spain. They were invented here. And he also designed the logo of Spain tourism. So if people wish to go around and places that you shouldn't miss, you should go to Spain tourism website, and you can curate your own plan as and they have really done a great job, the Spanish tourism office.
Mm-hmm.
They of course they have options in different languages. You can choose English, and take a look at which area you wish to explore. And if you
Yeah.
want gastronomic route, if you want like say Christmas route, or whichever, you have great suggestions
Wow.
out there.
That is so interesting.
So if you and of course you shouldn't miss certain festivals, like I would say Feria de Abril in Sevilla.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It happens in the month of April, where
Mm-hmm.
people are dressed up tip top. I think like how we say in India, tip top, perfectly in those beautiful floral hairdos, and the attire,
Yeah.
the polka dots, and men in like proper suits. You would
Mm-hmm.
see them elegant, the elegant dressing. Again, you have great artists. Some of I just named some of my favorite artists.
Go ahead. Yes.
Diego. So Diego Velázquez is another artist. He has one of his best masterpieces is Las Meninas.
Mm-hmm.
Check that out. It's like a self-portrait reflection. It's a mystical, I mean, mysterious, and it's a beautiful painting. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
you have other artists as well, like Goya, Francisco de Goya, and others.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of art movements, if you go back to a little bit of history, you have Cubism and other contemporary art and other things, even
Mm-hmm.
in Spain. So for that, you will have to visit the museums in around Spain, like Museo de Prado, Museo del Reina Sofia in Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
These are the
Yeah.
things. And of course, architecture. Architecture is
Mhm.
excellent. Again, I
Absolutely.
mentioned Antoni Gaudi, my favorite architect, who designed the beautiful city of, of course, as parts of Barcelona. Now let's go to music. I love music. I love to listen
Mhm.
to music here. The music I would say would be the contemporary would be reggaeton, which is going everywhere. You go to a club, they play reggaeton, and but then when it comes to classic music, you have of course the Western classical music, which is and you have a lot of concerts around shows and stuff, and flamenco. Now I would like
Yes.
to go to flamenco, which is well known, yet it has a bit of history connected to India.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. Go ahead. Tell us the story of flamenco.
So they say that the flamenco is I mean, used to be performed and is performed. It's a cultural significance when it comes to a little bit of the historical context. The flamenco is performed by a group, a tribe called the Gypsies or Gitanos.
Mm-hmm.
They're called
Mm-hmm.
Gitanos,
Mm-hmm.
and they are here. Here, they are a marginalized community, but uh, you know, they look a lot like, having origins from Turkey and India. They look a lot different from the usual Spanish population. Um, they they are actually travelers. So gypsy means some people who keep traveling, and so they originally are from India. They have traced down. Now it's proven. Center for cellular and molecular um, biology also have
Biology. Yeah.
tested the DNA. It's proven that their origins are from they lie in India. So they say that they were called the Kathakas, which they performed in palaces and different parts of India, like different cultural spaces in India. They were
Mm-hmm.
storytellers. They basically were storytellers who performed.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Storytellers who performed, and due to some, you know, maybe invasion or some other issues, they
Mm-hmm.
or maybe to look for like they wanted to travel and look for a living. They
Mm-hmm.
moved to different places. So they say that they started their journey from Rajasthan, and
Oh.
they went towards Turkey, and they reached Spain and
Mm-hmm.
settled there. So there's a movie called Lacho Drome, which is ought to be watched. So people should. I mean, everybody can watch this movie. It tells the beautiful journey of how the movie starts with the traditional Rajasthani folklore, and I would say many research. Okay, and then how it ends in Spain, and how they sing, yet they are in a sad state. This
Mm-hmm.
is an old movie, so as I mentioned, they're a marginalized community. So it started with a celebration and it ends with a little, a
Some
sad
kind of a
story.
bit.
Researchers have actually looked at the similarities between the dance Kalbelia and
Mm-hmm.
the Rajasthani, this folk music, where
Oh.
you sing, and the same tone is used here in flamenco when the man sings.
Oh, wow.
And then the
That is really
footwork is very similar to the Kalbelia or the move, the Rajasthani dance. And nowadays, of course, after the research, today's world, you have a lot of performances which have the jugalbandi of Kathak and flamenco. And I'm sure you
interesting.
can find online. This is the story of flamenco.
How do we travel around Spain? If we are visiting Spain, is it easy to get around? How is the public transport there?
Yeah, if you reach Spain, you would of
Mm-hmm.
course have to land in a city which is a big city, which can be Madrid, Valencia, Barcelona, or Alicante. Perhaps it could be a direct flight or even a connecting flight. And then
Mm-hmm.
when it to that is international travel, but when it comes to local commute,
Yeah.
every city has a great transportation system.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the tram, you have a bus, you
Mm-hmm.
have metro as well. So all these three, and so you have a common card for it, where you
Mm-hmm.
could go to a train station, buy the ticket, and you can use the same. Make sure you validate it and have like about a lot of trips, so you can use it and go in any transport possible. And
Mm-hmm.
it's the cities are very like walkable.
Oh.
You wouldn't mind walking for kilometers and kilometers. Unlike in India, we just take a rickshaw or like an
Yeah,
auto.
we get exhausted here. Yes.
we can't walk so much, but here you would not be tired. You love walking and exploring. So yeah, the transport is quite good. And when it comes to smaller towns like where I am currently,
Huh?
and who just have, I think, buses here and taxis, and it's because it's a small town, you can just walk around. So,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
example, I walk to my school every day. So, although
Mhm.
I stay about 18 minutes away from school, I walk every day. So,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's good to know that it's so walkable and so accessible overall that you don't need to own a car or own a vehicle to get around places. That's really nice to know. So, well, thank you for letting us travel with you to Spain today. And for the last sweet moment for question, what is the most memorable memory that you have within these last 2 months that you have been in Spain?
um, the most memorable moment would be perhaps last weekend
Mm-hmm.
because friend, a long lost friend, visited me, uh, and she came down to see me here in Spain because
Mm-hmm.
and we reunited and we went around. We like we went to different to two different cities. So we explored together.
Mm-hmm.
Although we've both been to these cities, yet we enjoyed a lot, and we basically caught up uh, caught up on our lost time, and we explored the city wonderfully, and we went to local food places, and we lived the local vibe, and like, say for example, I you shouldn't miss in Valencia, you shouldn't miss going to this Daniel's Orchateria. It has good
Oh.
horchata and you can have fartong. So, me being in Valencian community and having known Spanish and learning Spanish, she doesn't speak Spanish, but yet because she had been to Valencia earlier, she suggested
Mm-hmm.
me to try this place. And although I knew fartong is a typical bread, a
Mm-hmm.
different bread prepared in the Valencian community. So you have a farto and an horchateria. So it's like a pair. So horchata is like a relaxing drink. So I had
Oh,
that. So that maybe that, and of course going to a tapas place, having the tapas, and yeah, savoring the local food. So I think that's what I did.
amazing. That's really nice. It's always good to catch up with people that you haven't seen for a while in a new country. So, I mean, thank you so much, Meghana, for sharing your experiences, your travels, your memories with us. And it was a pleasure to have you as a guest speaker today.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Listeners, please subscribe to the Culture Blender for more content like this. Share your thoughts in the comments, any questions that you may have, and stay tuned for more stories from around the globe. Until next time, keep blending cultures and celebrating diversity.